Let's demystify the HubSpot-Stripe app and talk about what it can and can't do by looking at real data. You can find the app in the HubSpot app marketplace under the name Stripe. The free app uses HubSpot's data sync engine, which is the same one behind hundreds of other marketplace integrations, and it keeps select Stripe and HubSpot data in sync. Once it's connected, the app can pull in key data from Stripe objects, like subscriptions, payments, invoices, products, and customers. The app limits you as to which HubSpot objects you can sync those Stripe objects to. Stripe subscription and payment transactions can only be synced to a new HubSpot custom object that you create, which requires HubSpot Enterprise, which can be really limiting to some customers. Invoices and products can only be synced to the built-in HubSpot invoice and products objects, and the Stripe customer object can only sync to the HubSpot contact object. It can't sync directly to HubSpot companies. So let's take a look at what you can get out of each available object, starting with subscriptions. We started out by creating a custom object in HubSpot called SDS subscriptions. We created the 22 fields that are available to sync, and we mapped them within the HubSpot-Stripe app. In the connected Stripe account, we created a new subscription for $1 per month to test with, and then started the sync. And so let's check out what data came through to HubSpot. Looking at the subscription record, the contact representing the Stripe customer billing email address was automatically related, which is good. We can see the subscription started and their next renewal date, which is the current period end. We can also see the subscription status, which is now passed. We can see the currency is in USD, but unfortunately, the integration is missing any revenue fields for the subscription. For example, current MRR, or monthly recurring revenue, is missing, making the object not especially useful to a company that sells subscriptions and wants to track monthly recurring revenue. Now, we're going to take a look at payment transactions. We started out by creating a custom object in HubSpot called SDS Payment Transactions and created the 35 fields that are available to sync and mapped them within the HubSpot Stripe app. We're going to take a look at the initial transaction for that same $1 per month test subscription that we looked at before. We can see in the description that the payment was related to a subscription creation event and that we see the amount was $1. We can also see that the payment method was on a credit card, although we can't see the last 4 digits or expiration date of the card or any of the other related billing address data for that customer. When a subscription was updated from one user at $1 per month to two users at $2 per month, a second payment transaction record was created. We can see in the description field that it was related to a subscription update, not creation. The amount that came through was the prorated 97 cents instead of the change in monthly recurring revenue, which would have been $1, which theoretically they would have wanted to report on. And if the subscription had both a one-time charge and a recurring charge on it, they would have been commingled in that one number. And finally, when we have the related Stripe customer ID, we don't have access to the related Stripe subscription ID, which means that we can't easily relate this payment record to the subscription record that we saw previously. So next, we have invoices, which syncs to the native HubSpot invoice object. We started out by creating the 17 custom fields that are supported in the sync and mapped those as well as the 15 standard field mappings that are available to existing invoice fields. On the invoice, we can finally see a lot of the related data. The integration can provide, all in one place, the amount paid, the customer details, the billing and shipping address, the period start and end dates, the status of the invoice, and the product line items so we can know what they purchased. Although in our testing, the line item was reflected on the full non-discounted amount, which is $10 here, instead of the actual $1 that the customer paid, which is theoretically what you would want to know if you're tracking MRR. While we only see the invoice related to the contact on the layout, if we go to the contact's company, we do see the related invoices there automatically, which is nice. One of the unfortunate limitations of the invoice object is that it can't be associated to custom objects like the subscriptions and payment objects that we created earlier. The next object that we're going to look at is Stripe products, which sync to the native products object in HubSpot. We started out by creating 3 custom fields that are supported in the sync, and we mapped those to the 4 standard field mappings that are available to existing product fields. We can see the basic information on the product records like the product name, unit, price, Stripe product ID, and the Stripe pricing model used. These product records are primarily used to show the line items in the invoice that we saw previously. And finally, we'll look at the Stripe customer object. which syncs to HubSpot contacts. We started out by enabling matching to existing contacts based on email address, which looks to map a HubSpot contact's email address to a Stripe customer's billing email. We then created 20 custom fields supported in the sync, and we mapped those as well as the 9 standard field mappings that are available to existing contact fields. Since Stripe supports both B2C and B2B use cases, it can be confusing whether a Stripe customer represents a person or a company. So the integration takes the simplified approach of just syncing to contacts. On the contact, we can see the Stripe customer ID, which maps to a single billing email in Stripe if present, which is what the integration tries to match to. Otherwise, creating a new contact, despite this example customer having a 90% discount, we did not see any of the coupon fields get populated with data, and there's no way to tell from the contact that this customer paid us a certain amount or what their subscription is currently worth today. Your best bet to get some of that data will be to create roll-up fields that go from the contact to its related invoices. And there you can pull data like the total amount invoiced in the last period of time, but you won't be able to get the customer's true recurring revenue. In conclusion, the Stripe Data Sync app is a good fit for companies who are looking for a free way to sync invoices and invoice statuses, but they don't need to see or report on recurring revenue. Some other limitations that syncing subscriptions and payments require custom objects, which means that you would need HubSpot Enterprise, which can be costly. Many of the custom fields available in the sync also require HubSpot Data Hub Starter. So if you're in the recurring revenue business, we recommend checking out our product, ClearSync. You could check out SaaS Happily, or you could look into building a homegrown solution, which is often done through data warehouse integrations. To learn more about HubSpot Stripe Data Sync, check out our documentation. We have it documented here at docs.clearsync.ai. We've written up a full guide, including detailed docs about this app with example records. If you want to learn more about ClearSync and how to sync your recurring revenue from Stripe to HubSpot, check us out at clearsync.ai or search for ClearSync in the HubSpot or the Stripe app marketplaces.